We hope it moves you to elation.
You'll see how a Purim custom called Adloyada
Blurs the line between good and bad.
evil
Ra, like many tales of horror, ours starts out peacefully, but soon it will dissolve into calamity.
A class meets in the rabbi's study.
Because you all beseeched me, and partly against my better judgment, today we'll start studying Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism. But first I want to be sure that you all satisfy the traditional age requirement that you are all over 40 years old. Is that true?
Yes.
Sure, yes. What do you mean, Pinchas? You're not yet 40.
What about that, Pinchas? You look a lot younger.
Yeah, people always say that. I turned 40 2 weeks ago.
Now that we've met a few times, I feel ready to introduce the most difficult and controversial topic in the Kabbalah.
Sex?
Post-colonialism?
Those are both thorny topics, but the most troubling topic is the presence of evil in God's creation. According to a view found in the Zohar, there was a certain sludge that was given off when God created our finite and messy world. And this gave rise to dark, evil forces, Ashmedai, Lilith, Samael, and the rest. Of course, God is more powerful than they are, but we can only access God's power in order to repair the world, Tikkun Olam, by doing mitzvot. Every time we perform a mitzvah, we strengthen the forces of good, and if we don't perform mitzvot, we empower the forces of evil.
Wow, I had no idea that every mitzvah we perform is part of a cosmic struggle.
I will never skip out of services during Musaf again.
This is where our story begins to gain traction.
Pinchas says let's move from learning to action.
You heard the rabbi. Every mitzvah we perform is critical to overcoming evil. I thought of something extremely important that we can do to help in our cosmic battle.
What is it? Feed the hungry? Say the Shema 3 times a day?
No, nothing like that. Next week on Purim, we need to get very seriously drunk. So soused that we can't tell the difference between blessed be Mordecai and cursed be Haman.
Pinchas, first you lied to the rabbi about your age. And now you want us to get plastered on Purim as a mitzvah?
I don't need booze. I already can't tell the difference between Mordecai and Haman. Both are bossy guys who try, through violent means, to impose their will on others.
How can you say that? Mordecai is our bossy guy, and Haman is their bossy guy who wants to do us in. That's a huge difference.
Enough! Here's what the Talmud says in Tractate Megillah. It says, Rabbah says, a man must get so drunk on Purim, Adloyada, that he no longer knows the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordecai.
Adlo, what?
Adloyada, so that he doesn't know the difference between Haman and Mordecai. You see, it's right there in the Talmud.
What about the rest of the passage? It says, Rabbah and Rabbi Zerah got together for the Purim feast. They got drunk, and Rabbah slaughtered Rabbi Zerah. The next day, Rabbah prayed and revived Rabbi Zerah. A year later, Rabbah repeated his Purim invitation, but Rabbi Zerah replied, no thanks. A miracle may not happen every time.
There you go. A miracle took place. Rabbi Zerah was revived from the dead. This shows that the mitzvah of Adloyada-antidote overcame the evil of harm to Rabbi Zerah. Never mind that Rabbi Zerah was cautious later on. Right here is the proof of the concept. If we perform Adloyada-antidote on Purim, we will strengthen the forces of good so that they vanquish evil. Will you all promise to join me in this mitzvah on Purim?
I'm with you.
Count me in.
I'm with you too.
You can count on me.
Go ahead, you guys. I'm with Rabbi Zerah. No thanks. I'll drink and make merry, but in moderation.
Pinchas made his friends follow Rabbal's recommendation.
On Purim night they indulged in intense inebriation. To be extra stringent they were diligent in noshing. A great variety of THC-laced hamantashen.
The next day, some strange things started to happen.
Hello, I need 25 large pizzas for a birthday party at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and 15 cheeses, 5 anchovies, 5 mixed veggies, and 5 mushrooms. My name is Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuch, Nebuchad, Nezer.
What are you doing, Pinchas?
Oh, I'm just playing a little joke on the pizza joint.
What are they going to do with 25 pizzas when you don't come for them? Maybe because of your joke, they'll do a mitzvah and give them to first responders.
That would be awesome. What are you up to?
I've been waiting to see my allergy doctor, but she has no appointments available for more than a month. Meanwhile, I have this itchy rash I can't get rid of, but I solved the problem.
That's great. How'd you do that?
My cousin, lucky she, mentioned that she has an appointment this week. So I called the doctor's office and pretended to be my cousin and rescheduled the appointment. Then I called right after and took the open appointment time. Now I'll finally get relief. Clever, no?
Oh, wow. This is just like what the Jewish mystics said. Adloyada broadened our perspective beyond the narrow good versus evil polarity. By doing so, we uncover sparks of good hidden at unexpected places.
Lazy Adloyada is breaking out from Purim. Now it's spreading far and wide.
It's wreaking havoc with decorum.
Hardly anyone
Liking moral
complains.
relaxation.
There's no way to stop it, no known cure.
No vaccination. There's no way to stop it, no known cure.
Vaccination.
Young Jews are holding their noses and working for the Trump campaign because they fear that the Democrats are going to wimp out on aid for Israel.
All right, Chevre, time to get to work. We have 2 hours for each of us to make 60 calls. Together, we can turn Pennsylvania back into a MAGA state.
How do you use this thing?
On campuses, pro-Palestinian student and faculty groups are praising Hamas and turning Israel into a dirty word. On the West Bank, Hilltop youth attack a Palestinian village, destroying houses and cars, stopping their rampage only to take a break to daven the evening service. Finally, people are paying attention to the warnings about climate change. They figure if calamity is inevitable, why not live it up in the meantime? Over the last 6 months, Jet travel, fossil fuel consumption, and petrochemical manufacturing have all risen dramatically. Even vinyl records are making a comeback. Meanwhile, Maine voters rejected a proposed transmission line to deliver hydroelectric power from Quebec to Massachusetts, and Cape Cod residents with ocean views are campaigning furiously to bar wind turbines from Nantucket Sound.
Abby
suspects that Pinchas is germinating this. All time has come. She feels it's time to end it. Pinchas should be terminating this.
Look at what you've done. All across the country and beyond, people's moral compasses have gone wacko. Just yesterday, I saw a Boy Scout dragging an elderly lady across the street against her will. Some mitzvah you got people to do. We have to go back to the rabbi and tell him what happened and see if there's a way to undo this.
What's your problem? You have such a narrow-minded view of right and wrong behavior. We're not doing that. Oh, if you so much as whisper anything to the rabbi, I will see to it that you are trolled and doxxed on the internet, that people will shun you like a leper for the rest of your life.
Oh no! Et tu, Pinchas! Ashmedai has you in his grip!
Pinchas threat scared Abby to the core.
Scared Abby to the core, but the next day she was at the rabbi's door.
Scared Abby to the core.
Scared Abby,
Day she was at the rabbi's door.
So Pinchas wasn't really over 40? I'll have to give up using the honor system when I teach the Zohar. Next time I'll have to card everybody, and I'll insist on seeing their real ID.
That's next time. But what can we do now to counteract all this evil? I was thinking, how about if we get lots of people to perform mitzvot? We could go wherever Jewish people hang out and get thousands of them to do mitzvot, like putting on tefillin.
Actually, there's already a group that's been working overtime on that. They're practically on every street corner, and even after 60 years, they haven't been able to diminish evil even this much.
So what can we do? Is there no solution?
I don't know what to do, but I know who to ask. The heroic women of Israel. I'll reach out to them. Come back in an hour.
Who knew there's a heroic dispatch that Jews can call when things get out of hand? They'll answer Abby's call. Abby's calls, her call of distress. Somehow they will fix this mess.
Abby, here's Bruria, the wife of Rabbi Meir. Her wisdom and mastery of Jewish law are unparalleled. But Bruria, why are you here by yourself? Usually the heroic Jewish women travel in threes. Where's Queen Esther and Deborah, the prophetess?
Sorry, Rabbi, but we've received so many calls for help lately that we have to go out separately. Perhaps there's some way I can help you.
We have a terrible problem here. This is no time to shortchange us. Go back and tell your colleagues that we need the full complement. 3 heroic women.
But maybe...
No maybes. This is a sign of disrespect. If a prominent rabbi like Rabbi David Wolpe called you, I'm sure the 3 of you would be there in an instant. I demand equal treatment. Come back with 3, or don't come back at all.
Rabbi, please. This is an emergency. Let's give Bruri a chance. After all, she's arguably the wisest person in the Talmud. She's not lukewarm cholent. We're having a pandemic of Adloyada. It's spreading like wildfire. Can you help us get rid of it?
No, that's not possible. But I can help with an antidote that will keep Adloyada from causing all this trouble. But first let me explain how Adloyada originated, so you understand why you need an antidote instead of a cure. It started with Rabbah. He was a brilliant sage, a deep thinker. He was also very popular with his students. It puzzled and pained Rabbah that God is ruling over us in magnificent heavenly court. But what do we do? What do we get down here on earth? Too often we have people like Ahasuerus and Haman ruling over us. And what about our nature as humans? Supposedly, we're created in God's image. But what happens? We try our best to follow the laws of the Torah, but there's a wild, chaotic energy that bubbles up inside, pressing us to do whatever we want, even if it harms other people. Too often, it bursts forth to mess things up, according to Rabbah. Purim is our escape valve. Once a year, we turn things upside down. We let loose all the craziness inside us and poke fun at all the craziness around us. By reaching the state of Adloyada, we enter into the lunacy of the external world and discharge the inner burdens that we carry.
But this Adloyada is way out of control. It's causing a disaster that's spreading all over our planet.
Today you have the same problem that Rabbah had in his day. He had no antidote to protect him. Adloyada got more and more power over him until it corrupted his behavior toward others. He started confusing good with evil with that attack on Rabbi Zerah. And as an act of kindness, he devised a tax evasion scheme for his students. He scheduled his month-long study sessions to coincide with the tax collection season. When the tax collectors came around, thousands of students were nowhere to be seen. They were off studying with Rabbah. The emperor eventually found out about this and sent the royal bailiffs after him. Rabbah fled, they pursued him, and eventually Rabbah's dead body was found. A sad story.
If Rabbah didn't have an antidote for Adloyada, what am I supposed to do?
I know someone who has it. You need to talk to the woman who devised the antidote for Adloyada, Tamar, the daughter-in-law of Judah.
It goes that far back?
Long before Rabbah, way back in biblical times, there was lots of morally mixed up Adloyada out there, even though they didn't have a name for it. Tamar, Judah's daughter-in-law, figured out a way to curb it, using the words, Hakerna. I'll ask her to come talk with you. Tamar, Abigail here needs some help. Please explain to her what you did when Judah shirked his legal responsibility and blamed you instead.
It started when he gave me his oldest son, Er. Alas, Er died before we could have a child.
You mean heir left no heir?
Exactly. By law, the second son, Onan, took his place to continue Er's line. A selfish cur. He spilled his seed, and God struck him down for that.
The third son was a child, too young to wed, so Tamar waited years, dressed in black instead. When he matured, Judah played her false, thinking Tamar was cursed, feared his son's loss. Judah left Tamar, moldering in widow's weeds. Tamar lived a sad, dreary life indeed. Judah left Tamar, moldering in widow's weeds. Tamar lived a sad, dreary life indeed.
What's a gal to do? Men run the show and do what they see fit. But Judah hadn't seen the last of me. Throwing off my widow's clothes, I dressed up like a gal for hire. I stood there by the road, catching Judah's eye, just like honey draws a fly.
Amazing. After years stuck in a widow's limbo, you broke free and unleashed your inner bimbo.
Yes, we had a jolly little romp together. Afterward, Judah had nothing with him to pay the cost. I said, leave me your staff and cord and seal. When you bring me a goat, we'll seal the deal. Little did he know that I'd soon be gone, and his precious stuff would be lost. A few months after our escapade of roadside sex for pay, the whole camp saw my belly growing by the day. After I waited years and years of widowhood, while Judah got to do whatever thing felt good, Judah got all righteous. He said, Tamar is an adulteress. Take her and throw her on the fire. I set him straight. I sent him his staff and cord and seal, with this little note: these items belong to the dad-to-be. And then I said some special words. Hakerna, recognize them, please. And Hakerna he did. His eyes popped out of their sockets, his heart beat 3 times faster, and he, head of household, saw divine truth and realized that I was more just than he.
Hakerna. Are these some kind of special words like abracadabra?
They are very special words. Judah must have been shocked to hear them. He and his brothers had said Hakerna before when they showed Jacob Joseph's blood-drenched coat to fool their father into thinking that Joseph was dead.
These words carry special powers.
Hakerna are the only words that can keep Adloyada in check.
I don't know. I haven't had much success, and the people I'm dealing with out here aren't Judah. They've never heard these words.
What about me? Back in the day, I was scared to death.
Tamar had no idea just what hazards would transpire when she put on her veil and played the tart.
And when
Judah said, threw her in the fire, a frightful shivering terror seized her heart. But a voice from deep inside resounded strong, saying more than just survival is at stake. Tamar Stop this man from blurring right and wrong.
Right and wrong.
Save
The
the
child
child
health
cleanse
cleanse
truth
from
and
faith.
So she said, Hakena, please recognize, discern what's going on with open eyes, to find out what is true, and hear others' point of view. Don't just put the blame on the other guys. Judge fairly, weigh the facts, Hakena.
Wow, so amazing. Where did you get the strength and daring to do that?
Some folks think it's because Tamar believed in Israel's destiny, and she sensed God was calling for her to carry it forward.
Well, that's partly true, but I also took the very first commandment in the Torah, Peru Ravu, be fruitful and multiply, as my personal mitzvah mission.
Thank goodness you did. If you didn't, we'd have no tribe of Judah, no Nachshon plunging into the sea to escape from the Egyptians, which started the miraculous parting of the waters, and of course, no King David. We're so lucky you didn't skip over be fruitful and multiply and dedicate yourself instead to the very next verse, which says, you may eat every vegetable and seed-bearing plant. Imagine if instead of scheming to fertilize one of your eggs with Judah's sperm, you devoted yourselves to fertilizing eggplants.
And instead of hailing you as the progenitor of King David, we would remember you as the inventor of hummus. Abby, you heard Tamar's story. Go to Pinchas. Tell him Hakerna. Get him to see that living a life of Adloyada without the protection of Hakerna is like standing on quicksand. Lead him back to solid ground.
But how?
Tamar, go with her, support her, stand by her side.
Pinchas is mired in deep moral turpitude.
Can Abby with Tamar's assistance help this dude undelude?
Look around you. See what this world is coming to. Adloyada may be a cute idea for Purim, but the world is coming to
Hell in a Hamantash.
hell in a Hamantash.
Don't blame me. You are deluded with your this is right, this is wrong. It's right there in the book of Genesis. The devisings of the human heart are evil from youth. With Adloyada, we are embracing the human condition.
That's why we have Revelation. God saw the mess we were in and gave us tools to rise above it, to prevent another calamity like the flood from happening.
I cannot recognize where this is heading. Things are getting worse, contagion spreading.
From Newton Upper Falls
It's
to
one thing once a
Reading.
year to gaze at evil through thick glass, but you unleash an inner force that's selfish, cruel, and crass. So we're not made in God's image anymore.
Not made in God's image
And we've lost what we're here on earth for.
Our world is a festering sore,
full of hatred, enmity, and war.
You're putting out the word that life's absurd, that more evil and injustice will even up the score.
So Hakerna, pause and ponder why we have laws. Be the cure and never be the cause. Hakerna, Hakerna.
Oh! What do you want me to do? I can't cure all the evils of the world.
Of course not. But you're a charismatic, persuasive guy who knows a lot of people. Come, we'll get some people together, and they'll get some more people together, and we'll figure out what we can do to make a start.
Maybe we can start with Kabbalah classmates.
Great idea. And maybe next Purim we can tell everyone to have fun and connect with the craziness of Purim, but if your aim is to experience Adloyada, keep Hakerna close by. Tamar, I like your idea of devoting yourself wholeheartedly to following one commandment. It might help repair the world if each of us did the same. I wonder what commandment each of you would choose.
I know what mitzvah will dedicate myself to arrive at all the services in time for Kiddush.
And thank you, Tamar, for sharing your story and your wise message with us, and for staying by my side during this tough time.
My pleasure, and don't forget, Hakerna.